Number 12, the walking corpse syndrome. Imagine for a second that you wake up one morning and a bizarre, unsettling thought enters your mind. You're dead. Not like, oh, I feel so drained, I'm practically dead, but legitimately, irrefutably dead. Your body is just a husk, your organs have rotted away, and your blood has been replaced with sawdust. Maybe you're on your way to the grave, or perhaps you're already buried 6 feet under, but you're still walking around, and for some reason, you still want to get a coffee. This is not some weird Halloween nightmare you had after eating too much candy. This is a very real, very rare disorder called Cotard's syndrome, often nicknamed walking corpse syndrome. It's a serious delusion where a person believes they have lost their blood, internal organs, or even that they are literally dead. The brain's wiring gets so tangled it convinces you that you don't exist, which, as you can imagine, makes doing your taxes a real pain. It's a surreal, horrifying existential crisis that feels less like a disorder and more like a grim prank pulled by a very cruel god. It's what happens when your brain's self-perception goes so haywire it forgets you're a living, breathing human being. Number 11, exploding head syndrome. You're drifting off to sleep, your mind finally quiet after a long day of pretending to be a functional adult. Just as you're about to slip into unconsciousness, a sound erupts in your head. It's not a soft sound, like a gentle whisper or a faraway bell. It's a shattering, deafening, ear-splitting crash, a cymbal clash, a firework exploding, a shotgun blast. It's so loud and so sudden you jolt awake, heart pounding, convinced someone just kicked down your door only to find the room is silent and you are completely alone. Welcome to exploding head syndrome. No, your skull is not actually turning into a tiny frag grenade. And no, there isn't a tiny ghost drummer living inside your brain. It's a sleep disorder that causes you to hear loud, phantom noises just as you're falling asleep or waking up. The sound is an auditory hallucination, a bug in your brain's operating system as it transitions between wakefulness and slumber. Instead of smoothly powering down, your brain throws a surprise sound party with an explosive soundtrack that only you can hear. Think of it as your mind's way of saying, "Good night. Let me send you off with the sound of 1,000 shattering light bulbs." Number 10, foreign accent syndrome. You wake up one morning feeling completely normal. You go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, and look in the mirror. Everything is fine. You go to make some coffee and you say, "Good morning," to your partner. But the words that come out of your mouth sound different. Suddenly, without warning or reason, you're speaking with a thick, unfamiliar accent. You're not trying to do it, it's just happening. It's not a phase, it's a real neurological condition. Foreign accent syndrome is an incredibly rare speech disorder caused by brain damage, often from a stroke or a traumatic head injury, that alters the timing, pitch, and tone of a person's speech, making them sound like they're speaking with a foreign accent. The person isn't actually learning a new accent. Their brain is just misfiring and arranging the sounds of their native language in an entirely new way. It's like your brain suddenly decided to replace your usual voice with the voice actor from a B movie. You might wake up in Ohio and suddenly sound like you're from Transylvania, much to the confusion of your neighbors and the delight of your local vampire enthusiast club. Number 9, walking uphill forever. Have you ever tried to walk somewhere, and no matter how much you walk, you just can't get there? It's an exercise in futility. It feels like you're on a treadmill that's secretly going backward. For most people, this is a metaphor for life. For people with apotemnophilia, this is their waking reality. Apotemnophilia is a rare neurological disorder where an individual has a persistent and overwhelming desire to have a healthy limb amputated. It's also known as body integrity identity disorder, BIID. People with BIID feel like a specific limb, say an arm or a leg, doesn't belong to their body, even though it is perfectly healthy and functional. It's not a delusion. They know the limb is theirs, but the feeling that it doesn't belong is so strong it can cause extreme distress, depression, and anxiety. For them, the only way to alleviate the feeling is to have the limb removed. This is not a psychotic delusion, but a miswiring in the brain's internal map of the body. Their brain's blueprint of their body is fundamentally different from what is actually there. Number 8, the sun that isn't there. Imagine waking up every day to a permanent sunset. The sky is always a mix of orange, red, and purple, and the stars are out, but the sun never rises. No matter where you go, the sun is always on the horizon, but it never moves. For people with Charles Bonnet syndrome, this isn't a beautiful, poetic image. It's a terrifying reality. Charles Bonnet syndrome is a condition that causes vivid, complex, and silent visual hallucinations in people with significant vision loss. The hallucinations can range from simple geometric patterns to complex scenes of people, animals, or even entire landscapes. The person knows the hallucinations aren't real, but they are so detailed and so clear that it can be difficult to tell the difference. The hallucinations are caused by the brain's attempt to fill in the missing visual information from the eyes. It's like your brain is a computer and your eyes are a broken webcam. Your brain keeps trying to get an image, and when it can't, it just starts generating its own pictures. And because it's a computer, it can't tell the difference between a real picture and a made-up one. Number 7, the opposite of a superpower. Some people can read minds. They can see the future. They can teleport. But what if your superpower was the inability to recognize faces? You'd go to a party, and everyone would be a stranger. You'd meet a friend for coffee, but you wouldn't be able to tell it was them until they spoke. You'd be talking to your mom, and you'd have no idea it was her until she said, "I'm your mother." This is the reality for people with prosopagnosia, also known as face blindness. Prosopagnosia is a neurological condition that impairs a person's ability to recognize familiar faces. It's not a problem with their eyes. Their vision is perfectly fine. The problem is in the part of the brain that's responsible for processing faces. It's like their brain is trying to read a QR code, but the code is just a jumbled mess of lines. The person knows they're looking at a face, but they can't put the features together in a way that allows them to recognize who it is. Number 6, a painless punch. Imagine being able to get punched, stabbed, or burned without feeling a thing. No ouch, no yelping, nothing. It sounds like the ultimate party trick, or maybe the worst superpower ever, because your body's entire system for telling you when you're in danger is broken. This is the strange reality of congenital analgesia, or congenital insensitivity to pain. It's a rare genetic disorder where a person is born without the ability to feel physical pain. This might sound great, like you've unlocked a cheat code for life, but it's actually incredibly dangerous. Pain is a vital warning system. It tells you to pull your hand away from a hot stove, to stop putting weight on a broken ankle, or to see a doctor when you have a stomachache. Without that warning system, a person can accumulate severe injuries and never know it. A child with this condition might chew off their own tongue or break a bone and continue to play on it, leading to permanent damage. It's a stark reminder that pain, as unpleasant as it is one of the most important things keeping us alive. Number 5, the hand that hates you. You're trying to put on your shirt, but your left hand decides it wants to slap you in the face instead. You're holding a coffee cup, and your hand just decides to let go, spilling hot liquid all over your lap. You're trying to type a paper, and your hand is trying to choke you out. This isn't a scene from a horror movie. It's a very real disorder called alien hand syndrome. It's a rare neurological condition where one of your hands appears to act of its own volition, as if it has a mind of its own. It's not a hallucination. You know the hand is yours, but you have no control over it. The hand might button and unbutton a shirt repeatedly, pick up and drop objects, or even try to harm the person it's attached to. It's a bizarre and terrifying breakdown in the communication between your brain's motor control centers. It's like your brain is a manager, and your hand is a rogue employee who has decided to unionize and stage a protest. Number 4, the inverted reality. What if every time you saw a door, you saw a window instead? Or every time you saw a car, you saw a bicycle? For people with visual agnosia, this isn't a hypothetical. It's a very real condition. Visual agnosia is a rare neurological disorder that affects the brain's ability to process and interpret visual information. The person's eyes are perfectly fine. They can see everything in front of them, but their brain can't make sense of it. It's like a computer that's getting all the right data, but it's using the wrong program to process it. A person with this condition might be able to see the color, shape, and size of an object, but they can't tell you what the object is. You might show them a pen, and they'll describe it as a long, thin, cylindrical object with a pointed tip, but they can't tell you it's a pen. It's the ultimate case of I see it, but I just don't get it. Number 3, the opposite of a shadow. We've all seen shadows. They follow us everywhere. They're a darker version of us, a constant reminder that we exist. But what if you saw a shadow that wasn't a shadow? What if you saw a person who was a living, breathing shadow, following you everywhere, watching your every move? For people with Capgras delusion, this is a terrifying reality. Capgras delusion is a psychiatric disorder where a person believes that a close friend, family member, or even pet has been replaced by an identical imposter. The person knows what the imposter looks like. They look exactly like the person they've replaced, but the person is convinced that it's not them. They might accuse their own mother of being an alien, a robot, or a clone. It's an incredibly distressing and difficult delusion to live with. It's a breakdown in the emotional part of the brain that's responsible for recognizing familiar faces. The visual recognition is there, but the emotional connection is gone. It's like your brain is a computer that can recognize a face, but it can't access the file that says, "This is my mom." Number 2, the never-ending meal. You've had a big meal. You're stuffed. You loosen your belt, sit back, and enjoy the feeling of being full. But what if that feeling never came? What if you could eat and eat and eat, but you never felt full? For people with Prader-Willi syndrome, this is a lifelong struggle. Prader-Willi syndrome is a rare genetic disorder that causes a feeling of a constant, insatiable hunger. It's a malfunction in the hypothalamus, the part of the brain that's responsible for controlling hunger and satiety. The person with this syndrome can eat a large meal and still feel as if they're starving. This can lead to severe obesity, diabetes, and other health problems. It's like their brain's stop eating button is permanently broken, leaving them in a perpetual state of hunger. It's a literal battle of the mind over matter, and in this case, the mind is a relentless, unstoppable force. Number 1, the time-traveling head day. You wake up one morning, and a strange thought enters your mind. You are not who you think you are. You're not the person you saw in the mirror. You're someone else. You're an entirely different person, with a different name, a different life, and a different personality. This isn't a fleeting thought. It's a deeply held belief. For people with dissociative identity disorder, DID, formerly known as multiple personality disorder, this is a very real and very painful experience. It's a complex mental health condition where a person develops 2 or more distinct identities, or alters, that have their own way of thinking, feeling, and behaving. The person might have a personality that's a child, a teenager, or a different gender. They might have a personality that's angry, or one that's calm. The person might not even be aware of the other personalities. It's not a voluntary act. It's a coping mechanism for severe trauma, usually in childhood. It's the brain's way of compartmentalizing overwhelming pain and stress. The brain essentially creates new personalities to deal with the trauma, so the main personality doesn't have to. It's like the brain is a company with a lot of departments, and when one department gets too stressed, the CEO just creates a new department to take over.